All right, shalom, shalom. I want to start setting all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom, Wakasah, Laha Bakyar, which is a peace and mercy to the elect throughout the four corners, wherever you may be. The brother Amar from Ratchet GMS Cleveland. Come back at you another video, and real quick, this will be a lesson going into the man that's mentioned by the name of Apollos, right? Which I'm going to get into it and showing you that if you have some understanding of the scriptures, that the Lord can send particular, men or women. In this case, a man and a woman, a man and his wife, to give you more edification on the scriptures. And ultimately, that's what we're out there to do. You know what I'm saying? We're out there to give edification. The reason why we make these videos is for edification, to uplift and strengthen the body as a whole, not just brethren, but women as well, children, if need be. But just want to get into it. This is the book of Acts, chapter 18, verse 1. It says, after these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth. It says, and found a certain Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus, lady come from Italy, with his wife Priscilla, because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome, and came unto them. And because he was of the same craft, he abode with them and wrought. It says, for by their occupation they were tent makers, right? So let's give you a little backdrop. Paul kind of became more acquainted with this man Aquila and his wife Priscilla, because they was of the same occupation and they believed. All right, so when you fast forward, jumping down, I'm gonna start from verse 18. I'm gonna jump down to verse 18. This is going to tie into what I'm going into. It says, and Paul after this tarried yet there. It says there yet a good while, and then took his leave of the brethren and sailed thence into Syria, and with him Priscilla and Aquila, having sworn his head in Centria, for he had a vow. It says, and he came to Ephesus and left them there, but he himself entered into the synagogue and reasoned with the Jews. Verse 20, when they desired him to tarry longer time with them, he consented not, but bade them farewell, saying, I must by all means keep the feast that cometh in Jerusalem, but I will return again to you if Yahweh will. And he sailed from Ephesus. All right, I'm just kind of giving you a backdrop. The build up is coming. It says, verse 22, and when he had landed at Caesarea and gone up and saluted the church, he went down to Antioch. After he had spent some time there, he departed and went over all the country of Galatia and Phrygia, in order strengthening all the disciples. And a certain Jew named Apollos, it says, born at Alexandria, an eloquent man and mighty in the scriptures, came to Ephesus. All right, so here's the point. The point that's coming up. All right, he ran into a man by the name of Apollos. All right, and it says, born at Alexandria, an eloquent man and mighty in the scriptures, came to Ephesus. So right, he had a hell of a zeal. Now I just want to get this. If you have the opportunity, or if you have the chance to get a hold of it, it's not on the screen, but I'm reading it. It's the Harper's Bible Dictionary, and once again, that's the Harper's. That's HARPERS, Harper's Bible Dictionary. One of the brothers in the camp gifted me with this. Actually gave a few brothers he had multiple Bibles. Multiple Bible dictionaries of this, but he gave me a copy. But anyway, when you go to Apollos in the Harper's Bible Dictionary, it says Apollos, a Jewish Christian from Alexandria, who appears in the narrative of Acts. This is verse 8, chapter 18, verse 24 through it says verse 24. It says 19 and 1, and then 1 Corinthians. It says, according to Acts, he possessed great skill in Greek rhetoric and had already learned much about Yahushai when he arrived in Ephesus and began speaking in the synagogue. His ability soon brought him to the attention of the Christians Prisca, and Aquila, who gave him further instructions in the Christian faith. It says, quote, he knew only the baptism of John, Acts 18 and 25. It says, Apollos then left Ephesus to go to Corinth, according to one ancient text, Codex Bazan. He was received with enthusiasm in Corinth, Acts 18 and 27. While in Corinth, he became acquainted with Paul. When divisions arose in the church at Corinth, Apollos was admired by some Christians as a greater authority than Paul, perhaps because of his reputation as an orator. This is giving you some backdrop. Yeah, so in some regards, the Christians or the Jakes looked at Apollos in higher regard than Paul because of his zeal and his mannerisms of speaking. You know what I'm saying? So that just go to show you how zealous and mighty Apollos was in the scriptures. But going back to it, this is Acts chapter 18, verse 24. And a certain Jew named Apollos, born at Alexandria, an eloquent man, it says, and mighty in the scriptures, came to Ephesus. This man was instructed in the way of the Lord, and being fervent in the spirit, he spake and taught diligently the things of the Lord, knowing only the baptism of John. Right? So he only knew the baptism of John, right? But he was still speaking zealously regarding that topic, so to speak. So it's verse 26, and he began to speak boldly in the synagogue, whom when Aquila and Priscilla had heard, they took him unto them and expounded unto him the way of Yahweh more perfectly, man. Yeah, so they decided when they heard him speaking, they obviously had the spiritual discernment to understand that he obviously knew what he was talking about and understood the scriptures at least to a certain degree and believed sincerely. So they, the Spirit hopped on them to, expound unto them the scriptures more perfectly, as the scriptures say. It says, verse 27. It says, and when he was disposed to pass into Achaia, the brethren wrote, exhorting the disciples to receive him, who, when he was come, helped them much which had believed through grace, for he mightily convinced the Jews, and that publicly showing by the scriptures that Yahushua was Mashiach. Right, so, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much the point. I'm just going to get this last precept. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 9, verse 9. It says, give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning, man. And this is exactly what happened with my man Apollos, that was mighty in the scriptures, man. All right, Aquila and his wife Priscilla, they basically expounded unto him the way of Yahweh Shem Yahushua in the scriptures more perfectly, and he increased in knowledge, man. All right, he became wiser, and that's what you do to when you have the spiritual discernment. You don't just cast your pearls before swine, as the scriptures speak about. You have the discernment to understand, or possibly understand, who has the ability to get this. You know what I'm saying? And then you begin to speak unto them these scriptures, man. All right, these dark sayings, man. And you perceive that they have the ability to, or the potential to perceive, what you're talking about. Verse 10, this is the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's pretty much the point, man. You know what I'm saying? If you have some understanding of the scriptures, the Lord can send particular people to you to expound unto you more perfectly the way of the Lord. You just gotta be patient. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I pray this is edifying. With that, I'm give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakah Kodash. A double honors to the Apostle Israel Millstone and Shalom Wakasah Laha Bakyar, which is peace and mercy to the elect. With that, I'm saying Bible Ball, and I pray this is edifying. Shalom.